I confess I'm up to no good. Hey everyone, Fina here from Fina Reads. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a quick tag video to share with you because I was recently tagged by Stacy from the Chapter Conundrum for the I Confess book tag. No, what is it called? Book confession tag. Feel free to answer those questions as well down in the comments and join me in the fun. Tell me what your confessions are. Please ignore the dog, by the way. She is just pissed that the door's closed and I can't open it because then she starts licking her thing that is still healing, so we'll just ignore her. Question number 1 is, what is an unpopular book opinion or preference you have? I judge books by their covers, and I stand by it. I think a good cover is super important. If the book cover doesn't look good, even if I like the plot or the premise or whatever and decide to buy it, I will not read it, or at least not as soon as some of my other books that I have. I'm absolutely a visual person, and the book cover needs to look stunning. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. And I believe everybody, consciously or subconsciously, judges books by their cover, especially not when they're browsing in bookstores or browsing on Amazon. The first thing you see is the book cover, and if that doesn't catch your eye, you move on. Just subconsciously. You probably don't even think about it right now. I know there are people who say like, no, I would never, but yeah, that's my unpopular opinion. Question number 2 is, has your reading taste changed over the years and how? Honestly, I don't know. I don't track that kind of stuff necessarily. I mean, I don't read children's books anymore. I don't read middle grade books anymore, by far not as much at least. I read more indie, especially since I joined Booktube. Other than that, I've always read fantasy. I've always read thrillers and stuff that I enjoy. More indie, less middle grade and children's books. There you go. Question number 3 is, what genre do you read to get out of a book slump? I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know if I've ever been in a real slump, like where I didn't feel like anything. I mean, I had situations where I was just done with a particular book and then I didn't want to pick up a book in the same genre, so I just switched genres because, you know, I read enough different genres that I can just go somewhere else. What I did have, though, is that I couldn't decide which book to read next. I know that has nothing to do with the slump, but I was so like, I want to read these 5 books and I don't know which one to read first. What I do in that case is I go to my husband and say like, please pick one. So yeah, that has been working well in the past, but yeah, slump, I don't know, difficult question for me. Question number 4 is, what are some of your automatic buy authors? So there's this, for me at least, running gag on this channel that there shouldn't be a video ever where I don't mention Green Rider. So I'm mentioning Kristen Britton here, the author of Green Rider. She doesn't write anything else really. I mean, she has a couple of short stories in these Unbound series, but other than that, she doesn't really have any other published books other than the next book in the Green Rider series. Of course, I will buy the next book in her series, but other than that, Benjamin Averin would probably fall into that scenario. If you've never read a book by him, I just published an interview with him where he talked about his finished trilogy and his just started, currently I believe, trilogy, but he definitely is an author that I would buy pretty much everything from, and he talked about a couple of upcoming projects that I will definitely by him as well. Zamil Akhtar would fall into that category for me because I loved his Gunmetal God series. I also enjoyed the Lightbringer book, which is kind of a light lit RPG type of story. If he were to write other stuff, I love his writing style. I love his storytelling capability for both Benjamin Averin and Zamil Akhtar. So yeah, those are the 2. Question number 5 is, how many chances do you give an author before you won't try them again? And honestly, that is also not something I have ever really proactively thought about on I'm not reading this author on purpose anymore. It has happened though. So usually it is when I read a specific author, I read them as long as I like their books. And then when I read a book that I didn't like anymore, then I tend to steer away from them. So that happened with Ellie Hazelwood. I've read 5 of her books and I'm just done. I actually read more. I read 6 of her books. And literally, like, while I was prepping for this video, because I was thinking through, like, what should I answer? I was thinking about the Ellie Hazelwood books and put them on my Penguin immediately. It's like, listen, I will not reread them again. I will not buy her new books anymore. So might as well sell those books. They're all gone now. But there are some other books in my Penguin bookstore if you want to go take a look. But yeah, she is one of those. Just like, it's all the same. She's not bad. She's a good author and the stories are fun and the romance is fun. But it's just always the same. So I just stopped reading her books because it's always the same. So, you know, it's kind of it gets boring after a while. But then on the other side, Riley Sager is an author where I read just one book from, and don't ask me which one, I will put it here. Where I read one book from and I was kind of bad on it, but I want to try another book by him. So I will give him another try. Question number 6 is, do you have anything you like to do or listen to while you read? So listening with my ears, I definitely have to do something. Otherwise I will fall asleep. It's just that I cannot sit and just listen and stare at a wall or something. It's just, my brain doesn't work like that. I will fall asleep. So I need to do something that doesn't occupy my brain. So I couldn't do something that then stops me from listening, if that makes any sense. So it's things like I would do puzzling, or I would crochet, or I would play Sudoku or stuff like that. And then if I read with my eyes, usually I like it quiet, whiny dog aside. But sometimes I like to listen to music, especially if the house is super quiet. I like to have a little bit of background noise. So like classical music, or these fantasy music videos that you find on YouTube, or lo-fi videos, like depending on what mood I'm in, one of those. And I will speed up a little bit because I need to let the dog out. Otherwise she will whine my ear off. And I promise I'm a good dog mom. It's just, I cannot leave her alone for a second. Question number 7. How far do you read before DNF'ing? That really depends on the book. I tend to give a book a good try before I throw it out, although I had situations where I read like 1-2 pages and was like, this is just not for me. But generally I try to give it like 10-20% at least, or 100 pages, whatever, makes sense, because then I have a good feeling for, okay, is this a book for me or not? But I do DNF. I know that's not the question, but I know that is a question people ask. I do DNF. If I don't enjoy a book, it goes away. I cannot be bothered with reading something I don't enjoy. Question number 8 is, do you ever find yourself making the same faces as the characters in the book? Is that a thing? Is that a thing people do? I've never thought about that at all. I mean, I know there are some sketches on like Instagram and TikTok where people show what a writer wrote and then try to make the face the writer was describing, and it's always like more in a funny sense, but I've never made the face of a book. I find this question so hilarious. I don't know. Is that a thing? Please tell me in the comments. Am I missing out on something here? Am I not having a good reading experience because I'm not making the faces the characters are making? I don't know. Tell me, please. Question number 9. Rereading, yes or no, or does it depend? Absolutely. If I loved a book, why would I not reread it again? I reread fantasy books all the time, especially if like book 2, 3, whatever comes out at a later time. I want to remind myself what happened because I don't remember. After a year, I don't remember every single detail, and especially not the character names. If I enjoyed the book and I want to continue with the series, which usually means I enjoyed the book, I will reread it, especially if it was a longer break. Or I've had fantasy books that I've just reread for fun, with no particular reason. But yeah, I do reread books on occasion. Not all the time, but absolutely. Last question, or rather comment, is tag someone. And I know this video has been around for a little bit already, so I don't know who did it already. So you were tagged, you who are watching it. If you don't have a Booktube channel, don't worry. Answer the questions down in the comments, answer them on Instagram or Blue Sky, or whatever channel you're on, or just in your head on paper. That's fine too, in your book journal, whatever you like. If you have a Booktube channel, feel free to do this video. I think it's kind of fun to think about a couple of things. As you saw throughout the tag, some of these questions kind of caught me off guard, even though I prepared a little bit for the tag. And some of those questions might actually free up some shelf space for you, like they did for me. I don't know if that works. I'll wish you all the best. All right. Thank you so much for joining. If you want to see other tag videos or non-tag videos and actual book content, feel free to check out this video over here. And then don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more fun shenanigans on my channel. I really need to get the dog out the door now. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. See you soon. Bye.